Pain. It's not just something we survive, it's something we can use. What if I told you the very thing that broke you could be the reason you rise higher than ever before? What if your deepest wound was actually a doorway to your life's greatest assignment? This isn't motivational fluff, it's reality. One most people never discover because they're too busy running from their pain instead of listening to it. In this message, I will show you exactly how to turn your suffering into strength and your tears into transformation. So if you've ever asked, why did this happen to me? Keep watching. The answer might just change everything. Everyone goes through pain, but not everyone turns it into purpose. Most people either get stuck in their suffering or waste time blaming others, the world, or even themselves. But pain is a messenger. It shows up to reveal something, to ignite something, and to push you toward what's next. The question is not, why am I hurting? The better question is, what is this pain trying to teach me? The first step in transforming pain into purpose is accepting that pain is part of the process. You don't grow in comfort, you grow in discomfort. If life was always easy, you'd never stretch, you'd never build resilience, your story would be shallow and your impact would be limited. The greater your purpose, the greater your pressure. So don't curse your pain, study it. Second, ask yourself, what did this experience awaken in me? Did it make me more compassionate, more determined, more spiritually awake? Often, the pain we experience unlocks a level of clarity and direction we never had before. Some of the most impactful people in history were shaped by their struggles, not their successes. Next, understand that purpose is rarely born in pleasure. It's birthed in adversity. If you've ever cried yourself to sleep, been betrayed, lost everything, or felt like giving up, those moments weren't setbacks, they were setups. The pain was pruning you, stripping away what was unnecessary so your purpose could emerge. Another key is to stop waiting to feel ready before you act on your purpose. Pain prepares you, not perfection. You're not called to be flawless, you're called to be faithful. Start where you are, with what you have. Even your scars tell a story, and someone out there needs to hear it. Most people spend their lives trying to escape pain. They see it as something to avoid, something unfair, or something that signals failure. But what if pain isn't your enemy? What if pain isn't here to destroy you, but to develop you? The idea that pain is punishment is one of the greatest lies we've been taught. The truth is, pain is often the classroom where the most valuable lessons of life are taught. When something hurts us, it breaks the illusion that we are in full control. It shatters our comfort zones and forces us to confront things we would have ignored if everything was going fine. Pain brings us face to face with truth about ourselves, about others, about our environment. But unlike punishment, which exists to condemn, pain often shows up to shape. It's not trying to tear you down. It's trying to build something inside of you that cannot be formed any other way. Strength, endurance, wisdom, and above all, purpose. Think about a seed. Before it can become a tree, it must be buried in the dark. It must be broken open beneath the soil. That process looks destructive from the outside, but from the inside, it's how life begins. You too may have gone through a season that felt like you were buried, abandoned, crushed. But that wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You were being positioned, pressed, and refined for something bigger than what you could see at the time. Sometimes pain is the only language strong enough to get our attention. When life is smooth, we often drift, we become distracted, we settle. But when pain hits, we start asking deeper questions. We reflect. We strip away what's false. We look for something real. Pain doesn't just hurt, it exposes. It brings to the surface everything that's been hiding beneath the noise of daily life. It wakes you up to your own potential and your unaddressed purpose. Preparation isn't always pretty. It doesn't come with comfort. Think of an athlete training for the Olympics. The daily grind, the discipline, the injuries, the early mornings, they're all painful, but none of it is punishment, it's training. The pain serves a purpose. It's preparing the body and the mind for greatness. Your life is no different. Every challenge you've faced, every betrayal, every disappointment, every loss wasn't there to ruin you. It was there to ready you. You don't prepare for battle during peace. You train in the hidden season so you can stand strong when it counts. The pain you endured in silence, the tears you cried when no one was watching, the heartbreaks you barely survived, all of it was equipping you with emotional strength, spiritual insight, and inner resilience that no book, mentor, or money could give you. You were being made into someone who can carry a bigger assignment. Preparation isn't something you always understand in the moment. In fact, it often makes sense only in hindsight. You look back and realize that what you thought was the end was actually the beginning. What you thought was rejection was actually redirection. What you thought was punishment was actually protection. So stop seeing pain as a curse. Start seeing it as a compass. Every time life hurts, ask, what is this teaching me? You may not get the answer right away, but that mindset shift alone can transform your suffering into something sacred. Don't waste your pain by trying to escape it too quickly. Lean into it, learn from it, let it shape you. Because in the end, pain isn't your prison, it's your path. And what feels like punishment today may very well be the preparation for the purpose you were born to fulfill tomorrow. Pain is not a destination. It's not where you're supposed to build a home. Yet many people unknowingly unpack their bags in the middle of their pain, assuming this is where life ends for them. They replay the same hurt, the same betrayal, the same loss over and over in their minds until it becomes part of their identity. But here's the truth. Pain was never meant to define you. It was meant to refine you. It's a bridge, not a prison. Some experiences leave wounds so deep it feels impossible to imagine ever moving beyond them. But healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning how to hold the memory without letting it control your future. There's a difference between carrying pain and growing from it. Carrying it looks like bitterness, resentment, fear, or shame. But growing from it looks like wisdom, boundaries, compassion, and vision. The same pain can either weigh you down or raise you up. The choice lies in how you respond. You were never meant to drag pain around like a suitcase chained to your wrist. When you carry it indefinitely, it begins to change the way you see the world. It clouds your perception. You start to anticipate disappointment before it arrives. You distrust love. You expect failure. But when you grow from your pain, you don't live in fear of the past repeating. You walk in the strength of knowing you already survived it. Growth from pain doesn't happen instantly. It's a process that requires intentionality. You must choose to confront it, feel it, understand it, and then allow yourself to be shaped by it. Too many people numb their pain instead of facing it. They distract themselves with busyness, relationships, addictions, or ambition, thinking they've moved on. But unresolved pain doesn't go away. It hides in silence and reemerges in moments of stress, vulnerability, or crisis. Growth comes only when you're brave enough to meet your pain face to face and ask it, what were you sent to teach me? There is a reason the most inspiring people in the world are often those who have been through intense suffering. Pain strips away superficiality. It forces authenticity. It gives you a depth and understanding that others simply cannot fake. If you allow it, pain will shape your purpose by giving you empathy, resilience, and clarity. You'll begin to see patterns, lessons, and even blessings that you would have otherwise missed. But you cannot grow while staying stuck in the past. At some point, you must make a decision. I'm not carrying this anymore. I'm using this. Use the experience to help someone else. Use the lesson to guide your decisions. Use the wisdom to prevent future harm. Use the strength to break generational cycles. That's how pain becomes purposeful, when it's no longer something that happened to you, but something that now works through you. Letting go of pain doesn't mean you're saying it didn't matter. It means you're acknowledging it mattered enough for you to not let it ruin the rest of your life. You honor the pain by evolving, by refusing to let it harden your heart, by deciding that this chapter will not be the entire story. Every person will experience pain, but not every person will be transformed by it. The ones who are, they realize that pain is not a permanent residence. It's a refining season. It's a fire that doesn't burn you to ashes, but forges you into gold. And once you've come through it, you're no longer fragile. You're focused. So yes, you were hurt. Yes, it changed you. But now it's time to ask, what will I do with it? Will I let it poison me, or will I let it push me forward? You were never meant to carry the pain forever. You were meant to rise from it, with wisdom in your hands and purpose in your heart. One of the greatest lies we've been taught is that pain must be hidden, suppressed, or avoided at all costs. From an early age, we're conditioned to silence our tears, to toughen up, to keep moving no matter what. Vulnerability is mislabeled as weakness. Admitting hurt is seen as failure. But the truth is, real strength begins at the exact moment you stop running from your pain and start embracing it. There is no transformation without confrontation. What you refuse to feel, you cannot heal. Embracing pain does not mean you enjoy it or invite suffering into your life. It means you stop denying its presence. You stop pretending you're okay when you're not. You stop hiding the parts of your heart that are still bleeding. Pain that is embraced becomes pain that is processed, and pain that is processed becomes pain that is powerful. When you stop numbing and start noticing, you take back control. You begin to understand the root of your fears, your triggers, and your emotional patterns. You stop reacting and you start reflecting. Power doesn't come from pretending to be strong. It comes from being honest. There's courage in facing what hurts. When you let yourself feel the pain, really feel it, it opens up space for clarity. Suddenly, you're not just surviving, you're learning, you're growing, you're gaining insight into who you are, what you need, and where you're going. Pain has a way of shaking us awake. It forces us to reevaluate everything, our relationships, our beliefs, our values. That disruption, as uncomfortable as it is often the start of true personal evolution. Avoiding pain only delays the breakthrough, but when you embrace it, you're choosing to turn toward your future instead of remaining chained to your past. And here's the paradox. What seems like your breaking point becomes your making point. That low moment you thought would crush you, it becomes the foundation of your confidence. That loss you thought you'd never recover from, it becomes the catalyst for your next chapter. But you won't reach that turning point until you stop resisting the very process designed to shape you. Inner power is not about controlling everything around you. It's about mastering everything within you. When you embrace pain, you build emotional resilience. You stop being afraid of struggle. You realize that pain is part of the process, not proof of failure. In fact, those who rise above pain are not those who never felt it, but those who chose to walk through it instead of around it. That walk requires grit, humility, and faith. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Pain has a way of stripping us down to the essence of who we really are. And it's there, in that raw place, that power is born. Not the loud, ego-driven power of pride, but the quiet, unwavering power of purpose. The kind of power that knows, I've been through something, and I'm still standing. That kind of power doesn't just inspire, it transforms. So the next time pain comes knocking at your door, don't slam it shut. Open it, sit with it, listen, learn, because buried inside the pain is often the very message your soul has been waiting to hear. Embracing pain is not the end of your strength. It's the beginning of a deeper, truer kind. And from that place, you don't just survive, you lead, you heal, you rise. We often view pain as an enemy, something to be avoided, something that weakens us. But the truth is, pain is one of life's most powerful teachers. Embracing pain is not a sign of weakness. It is the first step toward building unshakable inner strength. It is only when we stop resisting pain that we begin to understand it. Pain, when confronted with honesty and courage, becomes the very tool that chisels our character and reshapes our destiny. Most people spend their lives running from pain, distracting themselves, numbing themselves, denying their true feelings. But no matter how far you run, unresolved pain always catches up. It hides in your habits, your decisions, your relationships. Until you face it, you remain a prisoner of your past. But the moment you turn around and walk directly into the discomfort, something incredible begins to happen. You take your power back. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop blaming and start transforming. There is a powerful shift that takes place when you no longer see your pain as punishment, but as preparation. Pain has the power to reveal your deepest truths. It pulls away the masks. It strips away the superficial. It shows you what really matters. And more importantly, it shows you who you truly are when everything else is taken away. That's not weakness. That's raw power. That's the kind of power that can't be shaken by external circumstances, because it was forged in the fire of internal struggle. When you embrace your pain, you begin to understand your limits and then break past them. You begin to discover your emotional endurance, your mental toughness, your spiritual depth. You start to see that pain is not here to break you down, but to build you up in ways comfort never could. Growth never happens in ease, it happens in challenge. Your greatest strength often lies just beneath your greatest wound. But you will never find it if you refuse to dig into what hurts. There are lessons buried inside your pain that cannot be learned in any textbook or podcast. They must be experienced. They must be felt. Real wisdom is not born from success. It is born from survival. From those nights when you cried alone, from the days when you kept going with a broken heart, from the moments you wanted to quit, but something deep inside said, just hold on. That's where power is formed, in the pain, in the perseverance, in the refusal to give up when every part of you is screaming for relief. Pain also expands your compassion. When you've walked through darkness, you see others differently. You stop judging people by their behavior and start wondering about their battles. You become less focused on performance and more concerned with healing. You carry a different kind of strength, quiet, grounded, and unshakable. The kind of strength that can walk with others through their storms because you've survived your own. Embracing pain is not about glorifying suffering, it's about redeeming it. It's about saying, I didn't go through that for nothing. It's about choosing to turn your wounds into wisdom and your trials into tools. Every scar can become a story that sets someone else free. Every dark chapter can be rewritten into light. But none of that is possible until you stop running, stop hiding, and start facing the pain head on. Your healing starts the moment you stop fearing your pain and start learning from it. And once you do, you will discover that embracing pain doesn't weaken you, it awakens you. It wakes up your potential, your purpose, and your power. We live in a world that teaches us to run from pain, to avoid discomfort at all costs, and to silence our struggles with distractions, noise, or temporary relief. But the truth is, healing doesn't happen in escape. It begins with acceptance. Acceptance is not the same as giving up or saying that what happened to you was right or fair. It's about facing reality with courage. It's the moment you stop wrestling with the past and start working with what life has handed you. You begin the transformation process not when you ignore your wounds, but when you examine them with honesty. Pain only prolongs its presence when we refuse to accept it. We replay the past, question every decision, blame ourselves or others, and in doing so, keep the wound open. Acceptance is like cleaning a deep cut. It stings at first, but it allows healing to begin. It doesn't erase what hurt you, but it removes the poison of resistance. You begin to say, "This happened, it hurt, but it will not define who I am from this point forward." That's when you take your power back. That's when pain shifts from being your oppressor to being your teacher. Healing is not a linear process. It doesn't come with a predictable timeline, but it does require your presence, your honesty, and your patience. Sometimes the pain we carry isn't just from the event, it's from what we tell ourselves afterward. I should have known better. I should have been stronger. This is my fault. Acceptance breaks that inner narrative. It allows you to feel grief without guilt, to feel anger without shame, and to feel sadness without fear. You stop judging your emotions and start honoring them as part of your humanity. When you finally accept what has happened, you allow space for the lesson to reveal itself. Pain often conceals its wisdom until we're ready to receive it. The longer you deny what happened, the longer you delay the breakthrough that's trying to find you. Pain doesn't mean you're broken. It means something inside you needs your attention. It could be your boundaries, your belief systems, your self-worth, or the wounds you've inherited from the past. When you stop resisting and start listening, the pain begins to guide you instead of paralyze you. Acceptance doesn't mean you like what happened. It doesn't mean it didn't affect you. It simply means you're no longer letting it imprison you. You're no longer waiting for an apology that may never come. You're no longer tied to the version of yourself that only existed before the pain. Healing begins when you release the need to rewrite the past and instead write a better future. You start to see the experience not as a dead end, but as a doorway. You might never understand why something happened the way it did. Some questions may remain unanswered. But healing is not found in answers, it's found in acceptance. The power is not in knowing why it happened. The power is in knowing you have the strength to move forward regardless. Pain doesn't mean your story is over. It means you're still alive. And if you're still alive, your purpose is not finished. Your life still has meaning, your voice still has power, and your heart still has the capacity to grow beyond what hurt you. Choosing to accept the pain is choosing to trust the process of becoming. It's the first brave step toward building something beautiful out of what was broken. And though the road may not be easy, each step you take with acceptance becomes a step toward your healing, your wholeness, and ultimately, your purpose. The truth is, pain is not the end of your story. It may be the chapter you're in, but it is never the conclusion unless you choose to stop turning the pages. One of the most powerful truths about life is this: your deepest wounds can become your greatest strengths if you decide to use them. Every experience of pain carries with it the raw material for wisdom, for strength, and for direction. What you've been through is not just something to survive. It's something to learn from, something to grow with, something to turn into fuel. So many people carry pain like it's a permanent scar, allowing it to define who they are. But the most unstoppable individuals, the ones who make an impact, who walk in peace, who influence and inspire others, are the ones who made a decision not just to recover from pain, but to rise because of it. They asked themselves, what can I do with what I've been through? Who can I become now that I've seen this side of life? Instead of hiding their scars, they turned them into stories. Instead of being ashamed of the hard seasons, they used them as testimonies to help others climb out of their own valleys. Transforming pain into purpose doesn't mean pretending you're okay when you're not. It doesn't mean covering up your wounds with toxic positivity or a fake smile. It means standing in the truth of what hurt you and choosing to build from there. It's the moment you decide that what tried to break you will now build you. It's when you look at what was meant for harm and say, watch me turn this into something powerful. You might not feel strong right now. You might feel tired, drained, maybe even lost. But the fact that you're still breathing, still seeking, still listening to words like these, it means there's something inside you that hasn't given up. That part of you, no matter how small it feels, is the seed of your transformation. Water it, feed it, let it grow. Use your pain as the proof that you have endured something many others might not understand. But that doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're still standing when life gave you every reason to fall. Purpose is not something we find outside of us. It's something we uncover through experience. The pain you've lived through gives you perspective others don't have. It gives you empathy. It gives you insight. That's not something to waste. That's something to work with. Whether your pain came from rejection, loss, betrayal, failure, or disappointment, it all points to something greater. If you're willing to ask, what can this teach me? Purpose isn't always about a career or a platform. It's about showing up every day with the intention to grow, to give, and to evolve into someone stronger than your circumstances. Turning pain into purpose starts with making the decision that your story matters. It means no longer hiding from your past or being ashamed of what you've walked through. It means saying, I've been there, and now I'm moving forward. And I will use this not just for myself, but to light the way for someone else. Your pain does not disqualify you from living a purposeful life. On the contrary, it prepares you to live with greater depth, passion, and conviction. You are not here by accident, and neither is your pain. Use it. Don't just survive it. Transform it. One of the most critical steps in transforming pain into purpose is learning how to forgive, not just others, but yourself. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a simple act of letting go or forgetting what happened, but it is much deeper and more powerful than that. Forgiveness is a conscious decision to release the hold that pain, anger, or resentment has over your life. It is the key that unlocks your ability to move forward, to heal, and to reclaim your power. Without forgiveness, the weight of your pain can become a prison, trapping you in the past and keeping you from embracing your future. Many people think forgiveness means excusing the wrong or pretending the hurt didn't happen. But forgiveness isn't about what the other person deserves. It's about what you deserve. Peace, freedom, and the ability to live without bitterness. When you hold on to unforgiveness, you carry a heavy burden that drains your energy and steals your joy. It affects your relationships, your health, and even your mindset. Forgiving does not mean you have to reconcile or forget the lessons learned, but it means you choose not to let your past control your present. Forgiving yourself is just as important as forgiving others. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is the one staring back at you in the mirror. Maybe you blame yourself for mistakes, missed opportunities, or choices you regret. But self-forgiveness is essential because it restores your self-worth and allows you to embrace growth. It's about recognizing that being human means being imperfect, and that your past errors don't define your future. When you forgive yourself, you release the toxic cycle of shame and guilt that keeps you stuck and open the door to self-love and transformation. The process of forgiveness is not instant or easy. It takes time and intentional effort. It begins with a willingness to face your pain honestly, acknowledge the hurt, and then make a deliberate choice to release it. You may need to express your feelings, seek support from trusted friends or professionals, or find healthy ways to process your emotions. The key is to not suppress or ignore your pain, but to work through it so that it no longer controls you. Forgiveness also empowers you to reclaim your energy. When you're burdened by anger or resentment, your energy is tied up in negative emotions. This leaves less room for creativity, motivation, and positive action. But when you forgive, you free that energy and redirect it toward building your purpose. It's like unlocking a reservoir of strength that was hidden beneath the weight of your pain. This renewed energy fuels your ability to pursue your dreams, nurture relationships, and live authentically. It's important to remember that forgiveness is ultimately an act of self-care and self-respect. It honors your right to peace and happiness. By choosing forgiveness, you declare that your past will not imprison you, that you deserve to heal, and that your life is worth living fully. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it transforms how the past affects your present and future. So as you walk the path of transforming pain into purpose, understand that forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools you have. It allows you to break free from the chains of hurt and bitterness and step into a life marked by freedom and growth. It's a choice that may be challenging, but ultimately liberating. When you forgive, you reclaim your power, protect your energy, and open the door to a future where your purpose shines brighter than your pain ever did. Another essential step in transforming pain into purpose is cultivating resilience. Resilience is the inner strength that enables you to bounce back from setbacks, disappointments, and heartaches. It's not about avoiding pain or pretending everything is fine, but rather about developing the capacity to endure hardship and keep moving forward with courage and determination. Resilience is what separates those who allow pain to define and defeat them from those who use their pain as a stepping stone toward a greater purpose. Resilience begins with mindset. It requires adopting a perspective that views challenges not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and learning. When you develop resilience, you understand that pain is temporary and that you have the power within you to rise above difficult circumstances. This mental shift changes everything because it replaces feelings of helplessness with empowerment. It invites you to ask, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? Building resilience also means developing emotional strength. Pain often comes with waves of emotions, anger, sadness, fear, or frustration. Instead of suppressing these feelings or letting them overwhelm you, resilience teaches you to face them head-on, process them healthily, and move through them. It's about acknowledging your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. When you learn to manage your emotional responses, you maintain clarity and focus, even during tough times. Another key aspect of resilience is persistence. When transforming pain into purpose, you will inevitably face moments of doubt, setbacks, and even failures. Resilience is what keeps you going when the path seems unclear or difficult. It is the grit that fuels your persistence and commitment to your goals, reminding you that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Persistence also means being patient with yourself and understanding that healing and growth take time. You don't have to rush or be perfect. You just have to keep moving. Resilience also involves the ability to adapt. Life is unpredictable, and pain often forces us into situations that require change. Being resilient means you're flexible and willing to adjust your approach, mindset, or plans when necessary. It means embracing change as part of your journey rather than resisting it out of fear or frustration. Adaptability allows you to find new ways to achieve your purpose, even when the original path is no longer viable. Another important element of resilience is self-belief. When pain hits hard, it's easy to question your worth, your abilities, or your future. But resilience requires maintaining faith in yourself, even when external circumstances suggest otherwise. It means reminding yourself of your strengths, your past victories, and your potential. This self-belief becomes the foundation upon which you rebuild your life and purpose. It fuels your motivation and gives you the courage to take risks and step into the unknown. Finally, resilience is strengthened through support. You don't have to face your pain alone. Seeking support from trusted friends, family, mentors, or professionals provides encouragement, guidance, and perspective. Sharing your journey lightens the burden and offers fresh insights that help you grow stronger. Resilience is not about isolation, but about building connections that uplift you when your strength wanes. In summary, cultivating resilience is a vital step in transforming pain into purpose. It equips you with the mindset, emotional strength, persistence, adaptability, and self-belief needed to navigate life's toughest moments. Resilience turns pain from a stopping point into a launching pad, allowing you to emerge stronger, wiser, and more determined. When you build resilience, you not only survive your pain, you thrive because of it, stepping confidently toward the purpose that awaits on the other side. The final, crucial step in transforming pain into purpose is embracing the power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness or as condoning the wrongs done to us. But in reality, it is one of the most powerful acts of strength and liberation. When you choose to forgive, you are not just releasing someone else from blame or judgment. You are freeing yourself from the heavy burden of bitterness, anger, and resentment that weighs down your spirit and blocks your growth. Pain, especially when caused by others, often leaves deep wounds, filled with feelings of injustice and hurt. Holding on to these negative emotions can trap you in a cycle of suffering that drains your energy and clouds your vision for the future. Forgiveness breaks this cycle. It is a conscious decision to let go of the emotional chains that bind you to past pain so that you can move forward unencumbered. This does not mean forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. Rather, it means choosing peace over perpetual suffering. The journey to forgiveness begins with understanding that forgiveness is primarily for your own healing. When you hold grudges, your heart remains tied to the source of your pain. This ongoing attachment drains your mental and emotional energy and prevents you from fully embracing the present and future. Forgiveness releases that hold and creates space for healing, joy, and growth. It allows you to reclaim your personal power and redirect your focus from pain to purpose. Forgiveness also requires courage and vulnerability. It means confronting the wounds inside you honestly, recognizing the pain, and then making the difficult choice to let it go. This is often not an easy process, because the hurt may have cut deeply into your trust and sense of safety. But it is in this courageous act that true freedom lies. Choosing forgiveness shows that you are stronger than your pain and more committed to your well-being than to harboring resentment. Importantly, forgiveness does not require reconciliation or continuing a relationship with those who hurt you. You can forgive someone without inviting them back into your life. Forgiveness is about your peace, not about enabling harmful behavior or exposing yourself to further pain. It is a personal journey of release and restoration that empowers you to set healthy boundaries and protect your heart. Forgiveness also has profound effects on your physical and mental health. Studies show that holding on to anger and resentment can increase stress, cause chronic health problems, and even weaken the immune system. When you forgive, you reduce these negative effects, helping your body heal along with your spirit. This holistic healing fuels your ability to pursue your purpose with renewed energy and clarity. Another important aspect is that forgiveness allows you to transform your pain into a message of hope and resilience. When you forgive, you demonstrate the power of grace and healing, becoming a living testimony that pain does not have to define or destroy you. Your willingness to forgive can inspire others who are struggling, creating a ripple effect of healing that extends beyond your own life. Finally, embracing forgiveness invites spiritual growth. Many spiritual traditions teach forgiveness as a path to inner peace and alignment with a higher purpose. By releasing bitterness, you open your heart to deeper compassion, understanding, and love, not only for others, but for yourself. This expanded capacity for love and empathy enriches your journey and aligns you with the greater meaning that pain has helped you discover. In conclusion, forgiveness is a transformative act that frees you from the bondage of past hurts and propels you toward your purpose. It is a gift you give yourself, a path to reclaiming peace, strength, and joy. When you embrace forgiveness, you no longer carry the weight of pain. Instead, you carry the power to heal, grow, and live fully. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks the door from suffering to purpose, allowing you to walk forward with a light heart and an unstoppable spirit.